Period. 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 Yeah. Period. Hello, litigators and opinionators. You guys, this story, okay, I keep saying this. I feel like court is now in session, y'all. Court is now officially in session. This story, I don't know whether to believe this lady or not. Was this really this woman expressing her sinister, undying love for her terminally ill husband? Or was she just sinister, outright sinister? So the lady that we are reviewing today for our court session here is on the screen here. And this lady, Ellen Gilland, 76 years old, claims that she did this heroic, undying expression of her love by sneaking in a firearm into a hospital, y'all, where her terminally ill husband was, and literally unalived him, took his life out. Because she said it was this plan that they had, you know, that because he was suffering and he wasn't getting better and he wasn't able to take his life, she did this heroic thing. But looking at her face here, I can't help but to not believe her story, guys. The look of her face doesn't look like someone who's really shown, I don't know, it looks like someone who has a sinister kind of smirk on her face. That's the vibe I am getting from this woman. So I don't know if I believe this woman, whether they really have this pact, her and her husband. But let's get into the story, y'all. I want to see if you guys believe what she's saying to be true. So she is a Florida woman. She's 76 years old. She shot her husband, who was 77 years old, terminally ill husband, after barricading herself inside Daytona Beach hospital room in a planned, she said it was planned, y'all, unalived self-conclusion. Y'all see the word on there. I can't use those two words, so I have to say unalived and self-conclusion for the two words. And now faces a first-degree unalived charge. This is crazy. I mean, I've heard some different stuff out there, but guys, where do these people get these crazy ideas from? I don't know. She's saying her husband and they both agreed to this, that she was supposed to unalive him because he didn't have the strength to do it, and that she was supposed to take herself out. But for some reason, she just changed her mind conveniently to not take herself out. I can't. So Ellen Gilland is accused of shooting her terminally ill husband, Jerry, in a planned unalived self-conclusion. She stayed locked in the room at a Daytona hospital after allegedly unaliving her terminally ill husband. Now, my first question I have is, how in the heck was she able to get a gun in a hospital? Well, I know most hospitals do not take the time to search individuals who come to the hospital. It's just a free-for-all. Anybody can walk into a hospital. So maybe after this crazy incident happened, things might change at certain hospitals. I'm just saying. Gilland could face first-degree charges for this shooting, and you could see the charges itself on the screen, y'all. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger for you guys there. Yep, the M word, the big M word. She's facing first degree because she definitely admitted to intentionally taking her husband out, y'all. This story is crazy. Whew. Woman fatally shot her terminally ill husband inside a Florida hospital on Saturday. And then she barricaded herself in his room. Yeah, after she took him out, she locks herself in his room. I thought they made an agreement that they both were going to have this this is making me think of Romeo and Juliet situation where they just die together. I don't know. Okay. But she locks herself in the room for 4 hours before surrendering in an ultimately failed unalived self-conclusion. But I don't know if I believe her. I mean, do you guys believe this is true, that they have this pact? That's the first thing, because the woman's smirk on her face in that picture just doesn't sound like she's. I mean, I would be crying profusely because knowing her husband's gone if you really love him. Sounds kind of disturbing, y'all. Okay. So Ellen Gillen, 76, told officers that her 77-year-old husband, Jerry Gillard, had been terminally ill for some time, and they had planned the shooting together. Guys, this is crazy. Every time I hear these stories, I'm like, is this real? Is this real? They just get worse and worse, I tell you. So they supposed to have made this romantic plan to take, okay, she's supposed to take him out and then she take herself out, but apparently she didn't follow through. After shooting her husband at 11:30 a.m., she refused to come out until about 3:30. After negotiating with police, McAllister said, can you believe that, guys? She really, like, I guess, locked in there with the gun, and officers were trying to negotiate with her for hours. Afterward, it was revealed that Giller had planned to turn the gun on herself in a unalive self-conclusion attempt, but she couldn't go through with it, said Daytona Beach Police Chief Jakari E. Young. Okay, you shouldn't have gone through it in the first place. First of all, you shouldn't have took your husband out. First of all, you shouldn't. How was you able to garner up this strength to take out your love, your husband, and then now you saying I couldn't go through with it. You should have never gone through with it in the first place. You should have never even took your husband. What the heck? But look at this woman's face. Something about this sinister woman's face tells me that she's lying. She looks like she's smiling and said, yeah, I got that sucker. Look, that's how her face looks. It's like she's like a sense of like happiness that she did what she did. Like if I'm just trying to put myself in her shoes, which I would never do something crazy like this, guy. So please don't come for me. I would never, ever do something like this. But I'm just saying, if I was crazy like her, if you claim you love your husband and you took him out like this and you couldn't garner the strength for you to take yourself out, why wouldn't you be crying like profusely because you can't live without your love? And I don't know. This woman, it looks like she looks like she has some sinister thoughts in her mind. Maybe she didn't want to keep going through with take care of her husband because she felt he was a burden. And so she made up this lie. But her face to me it just looks like she's happy about, kind of has a sinister look like, yeah, I did it. And I'm happy about it. That little sucker. He's been taking all my, consuming all my time. I'm tired of it. That's what it looks like, her face. I don't know. I'm just trying to, guys, always kind of figure out how these people are thinking. I don't know how these people are thinking. They're crazy. Ellen, 76, she told officers that her 77-year-old husband, Jerry Gilland, had been terminally ill for some time, and they had planned the shooting together. Police spokeswoman Carrie McAllister said, this is so sad, guys. I don't understand these people. What's coming to our world, man? There's been a mass shooting today in California, 10 people unalived, and now this. Oh gosh, let's listen to.
With breaking news tonight, though, police have a woman in custody after a deadly shooting and standoff inside a Volusia County hospital. Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Eric Sandoval. Eric Von Enken has the night off. Police surrounded Advent Health in Daytona Beach today after they say a woman shot her terminally ill husband and then refused to come out of the room. News 6's Emily McLeod is live in Daytona Beach tonight. And Emily, officials say that they had planned this, right?
Yep, that's right, Eric. The couple had planned this. This is such a tragic situation. Daytona Beach Police Chief Jakari Young says the couple had actually been planning this for about 3 weeks. The couple had reportedly decided together that if the husband kept taking a turn for the worse, that his wife would go ahead and end it. Now, police have identified the victim as 77-year-old Jerry Gillen and say it appears he was shot in the head by his 76-year-old wife, Ellen Gillen. Police say they got the call at around 11:35 this morning in reference to a person being shot at the Advent Health Center in Daytona Beach on the 11th floor. Young says the victim's wife wouldn't put the gun down. So that's when the SWAT team used something called a flashbang to distract her long enough and take her into custody. Crisis negotiators were also on scene. Negotiations began at around 12:30 and did not end until 3 o'clock. Police have also learned this was supposed to be a murder-suicide, but say Gillen couldn't go through with it.
This is obviously it's a tough situation. So her husband's terminally ill, so she was already in a depressed state just based on her husband being terminally ill and knowing that the end was near.
Police did say that they had to evacuate the 11th floor and it was extremely difficult because a lot of patients on that floor are terminally ill and a lot of them are hooked up to ventilators. And now they did say that the Advent Health is working to get back to normal operations, and they say Gillen could be facing a first-degree murder charge. Reporting live in Daytona Beach, I'm Emily McLeod, Getting Results, News 6.
Emily, just a heartbreaking story there.
Okay, guys, but this doesn't make sense to me. If your husband, if your husband's terminally ill and he's going to pass away anytime,
thank you so much.
Why didn't she just let him die away from natural causes? Why take him out in such a horrific, violent way? It's like, make it make sense. It's like she was trying to play God. And for some reason, the way she's smiling with that look on her face, I don't believe that she's telling the truth. Do y'all believe she's telling the truth? Let me know what y'all think, because this is insane. Well, let's get back to this article. Hold on, y'all. I didn't lost the article while I played that video. Sometimes things don't like us to be great. This is crazy, guys. This story is just crazy. This is something out of a movie. It makes me think of a movie but to take your husband out like this, she should have not even agreed. She should have said, honey, I know you're terminally ill. I love you. I want to spend the last moments with you. He's already going to pass away anytime soon. Why do you have to choose this violent way? And now you've made it worse for yourself because now you got to go to prison for life. Like, I don't get it. Just be there with him and show love to him and try to, be his comforting support. I don't care what he said. Okay. He probably did tell her. I don't know if he did or didn't. She should have said no. She should have been rational enough to say no if you really love your husband and say, I'm going to stick this out with you. I'll be here with you every day until you can have a peaceful departure, and I'll be here because he was going to pass away any day now. I don't get it. Apparently, because he was terminally ill, they had a conversation about it. And they actually planned this approximately 3 weeks ago. That's what they said. That if he continued to take a turn for the worse, he wanted her to end it. Obviously, we're unsure about how she brought the gun into the hospital, but this was planned. That's what Young said. That was the officer involved. McAllister said no charges were immediately announced, but she was taken into local jail Saturday afternoon. As Young acknowledged, Ellen Gillen could face a first-degree unalive charge. Y'all know the N-word charge. Young said the plan was that Gillard was originally going to shoot himself, but did not have the strength. This is so sad, man. I wish she just would have tried to talk him out of it, this whole thing. But I don't know if I believe her, guys. I'm still stuck on, I don't know if I believe her. Unless I see something in writing that is, confirmed to be him. I just don't believe this woman. She's just probably some of those women, because there's some women out there that are sinister. I actually have a friend whose son has cancer, and his wife is awful to him. I mean, completely awful to this poor man. He could barely get up, and she's always complaining and just yelling. And he needs certain things or he will die. And she doesn't take care of him. She'll leave him for days at a time. So my friend has to go travel many thousands of miles to see him because they live in different states, basically. But she has to go take care of him because the wife isn't doing anything. And there's plenty of other stories. There was actually another story of a wife who had a husband that had cancer, and she beat him to death, guys. He died a horrific death. That poor man. I felt so much sadness for that man. So I don't know. When we hear those kind of stories, I kind of just am hesitant to believe when someone says something like this. But this story is crazy. Anyway, it's a tragic circumstance because it just shows that none of us are immune from the trials and tribulations of life, Young added. Okay, this young guy, he has a lot of empathy for her, but I don't know. Let me just stop. Ellen Gillen did not harm herself, and no one else was wounded. Even after the initial shooting, she never tried to get up and leave. So everything was confined to the room, Young said. At no time were any of the hospital staff threatened or any of the patients. Okay, who is Young? Because Young seems to be taking this girl's side. This Young person, they didn't give me the first name of Young, but Young is kind of getting on my nerves. Oh yeah, Jakari, that's the Daytona police chief. Jakari Young, you need to stop, okay? You don't even know the true story. You just believe in this woman because you feel sorry for her. You need to do a proper investigation because you're doing too much taking up for this girl. I'm just saying. Part of the hospital was evacuated. Some doctors, nurses, and others took cover in locked closets and rooms. Now, I can't acknowledge, guys, it must be hard to see her love, suffer and be terminally ill. And, she wanted to relieve him of his misery. But something about this is very sinister because I know a lot of husbands and wives that I've known recently that have husbands that are severely ill. Either they have like a brain cancer. I know one woman who her husband had brain cancer. I know another woman, her husband was in the hospital for almost a year with severe health issues. And not one of those women that I know personally thought about going and getting a firearm and shooting their husband like that. So I'm just saying, something about this story doesn't sit well with me. I'm just not sure if I believe her. I'm not sure if she has some other sinister ulterior motive in her mind, and now she's trying to make this excuse up. I don't know, guys. Cops wait outside after a woman fatally shot her terminally ill husband inside a Florida hospital on Saturday and then barricaded herself in his room for 4 hours before surrendering. So this is the photograph of them where the cops were sitting out here trying to negotiate with this woman to get her to come out for several hours. And this is the chief that we just saw talking over here trying to express empathy. This is Jakari Young. I don't know about you, Jakari. I don't know. A police spokesman said no charges were immediately announced, but she was taken to a local jail Saturday afternoon. As Young acknowledged, Ellen Gillard could face a first-degree unalive charge. Young said it was planned. Here is where the cars were. They were all sitting out here waiting to try to get into that room, but for some reason couldn't get in. So it was a pretty unfortunate situation. It was a logistical nightmare to evacuate the patients on the floor, all of whom are on ventilators, y'all. Police were ultimately able to secure Gilland by distracting her with a flashbang device and a beanbag gun, according to New York Times. She's very sad, Young said. This is obviously, it's a tough situation, noting that Gilland had become depressed because her husband was terminally ill. Advent Health officials did not immediately respond to an email seeking comment. Police said the hospital has resumed normal operations. I mean, I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Do you guys believe that this is really their agreement? That they agreed to do this? And even if so, do you think that was the right thing to do? Do you think it was the right thing to do? I'm going to show you some updates on what's going on with the case because the courts are not wasting any time. I'm curious of what you guys think about this. This case is very conflicting to people because that's a good question to ask people. Like, what would you do if you're in this woman's shoes? I'm curious because it does tread upon a lot of conflicting thoughts in people's mind. If you love someone really, really deeply in your heart and you're seeing their suffering, would you do something like this, or would you just wait it out and until they pass away naturally? Me personally, I would pray with my husband and I would talk to him about, going to heaven and that God would want him to die a peaceful death and not this horrific way. And this is not what God would purpose for him. And I would be there to love and comfort him. But there's no way I would agree to that. Even if I see that he says he wants it, I would not want to do that. But that's just me. I'm curious what you guys think because everybody has a different opinion about it. But I still don't believe this woman. So let's read this. This has recently happened. She had a court date recently. She is given no bond. So no bond for this woman accused of fatally shooting her terminally ill husband at the hospital Volusia judge says. So she was appointed a public defender. Here she is right here on the screen. I can't believe seeing this 76-year-old woman in orange clothing, man. That's sad too. Because the thing is, it not only hurt her husband, of course, and what she did to her husband. The thing you have to think about now, this woman, sorry guys, now this woman has to spend the rest of her life in prison. It's all around a tragic situation, man. Let's hear.
Developing tonight, a woman ordered to stay in jail a day after police say that she shot and killed her terminally ill husband inside the hospital. The shooter, Ellen Gilland, faced a judge for the first time today, and she will be held with no bond. Investigators say the couple actually planned this out weeks in advance. News 6's Jerry Askin has more on the court hearing earlier today.
76-year-old Ellen Gilland walked inside a Volusia County courtroom slowly and quietly Sunday morning. She's accused of shooting and killing her terminally ill husband the day before at Advent Health Hospital in Daytona Beach.
You have been charged with 1 count of premeditated first-degree murder and 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
A judge ordering her to remain behind bars on no bond. Police say it appears Gilland shot her husband, 77-year-old Jerry Gilland, in his head, then refused to come out of his room, prompting a standoff. Investigators say she later surrendered and told them the couple planned this out weeks in advance.
She killed him, and then she was going to turn the gun on herself, but decided she couldn't go through with it.
Advent Health told News 6 the hospital is now back open for visitors. Daytona Beach Police Chief Jakari Young at a press conference following the shooting.
She was already in a depressed state just based on her husband being terminally ill and knowing that the end was near.
This story also part of a growing national conversation known as death with dignity. It's a law already passed in a few states that allows terminally ill patients to request lethal.
Wow, guys, y'all see that? This is one of the laws on the books right now. It's called death with dignity. And this one's in Florida too. Can you believe this? I don't know if I like this law. You know why? Because people can easily lie. You know, when someone's unalived, they don't get to defend themselves if this was not true. So this whole death with dignity thing, I don't know. Let me read it. Let's read the provision and see what this says. It says death with dignity, creating the Death with Dignity Act, providing criteria for qualified patients, requiring qualified patients to make oral and written requests for medication, requiring waiting periods before such requests may be made and such medication may be prescribed, specifying requirements of attending physicians, authorizing the attending physician to sign the qualified patient's death certificate. Okay, I see what this is going on. This is effective July 1st, 2020, and looks like a Florida State Senate submitted this bill. Okay, so what this is saying, it's not saying that your spouse can go out and unalive, because I'm saying if that was a law that was passed legally in any state, guys, people would be unaliving their spouses left and right, claiming that their spouse told them to do it. I'm like, no way. But what this statute is saying is that someone can verbally or write something saying, I want to take a prescription that will take my life, basically, because I'm suffering too much and I don't want to live anymore. What do you guys think about that? This is a very contradictory, very controversial statute. I'm curious of what you guys have to say about that, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of conflicting perspectives on that. Do you think doctors should be able to prescribe some medication that could take a person out because they don't want to be here anymore because they're terminally ill? Let me know, y'all. Let me know. I need to know what y'all think about this question, because this is a very controversial topic. But let's keep going.
Medication if they choose. Here in Florida, a similar bill, Senate Bill 1800, stalled in 2020.
In 2020, Senator Kevin Rader filed a bill, but there was no House companion, and the bill never saw any committees.
Florida State
Hallelujah. Because personally, I'm going to say my opinion, because I haven't seen anybody trying to give their opinion in the chat. Y'all need to participate. Okay, I'm going to stop doing these lives if y'all don't participate. it's an easy little type of whether you agree or not. Me personally, I don't agree because I don't think anyone should take their life. That is something that is prohibited by God. God wants us to be here. I know that terminally ill is a horrible position to be in, but just have faith in the Lord and hopefully some medication that'll help the person get through it and they can pass away under natural circumstances. Because I just feel, I'm glad that statute stalled and failed. Okay, I don't think doctors should be able to give that type of medication to people. That's just my opinion about it.
Representative Ana Escamani said while there is public support around this conversation, lawmakers may need more education on the topic first.
At this time, it definitely continues to be a topic that I don't think is well understood among lawmakers. And so despite the conversation on the ground, the legislature seems pretty not interested at this time.
I'm Jerry Askin, Getting Results, News 6.
And the other sad part is she looks like a sweet little old lady. And if this is true, it's just like, dang, how could she harbor the guts to take her husband out like that? Dang, like, I'm sorry. If you love somebody from your heart and your soul, you would want to spend every waking moment with it. I remember my friend, like I said, there's a woman I know from church. Her husband was he was terminally ill. He was ill for a whole year in the hospital. I remember her going to the hospital every day, just depressed. And she wanted to be with him every moment until the very end. Not over here thinking about taking a guy out. Come on now. I don't know. But she looked like doesn't she look like a sweet little old lady sitting there? I don't know, guys. This story is crazy, isn't it? There's this other video. They have her, I don't know, it looks like she's getting interviewed or not, but I don't know. I want to play this because I'm curious if they did an interview with her or what this video is all about.
Walked slowly into the Daytona Beach court. She stood quiet. Ellen Gilland walked slowly into the Daytona Beach court. She stood quietly as the judge read out the charges.
You have been charged with 1 count of premeditated first-degree murder and 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
The judge said for
I don't know what to think. She looks so sweet and so precious, but then you have to think what she did was horrible. So I don't know. Do you guys believe that they had this pact? If so, do you think it was the right thing to do? I know that's a crazy question, but there's some people out there who have some crazy thoughts. I personally don't think she should have did that. But at the same time, you look at her, she looks like this sweet old lady. Man, y'all, looks could be deceiving. I don't know what to think. I don't know. This woman, I don't know what to think if she was, guys, do you guys think her husband said that? And how could she get the guts to take him out and then, I don't know. Guys, I'm so tongue-tied. I need y'all to help a sister out because I'm tongue-tied with this story.
For now, the 76-year-old would stay behind bars.
Based upon the nature of the charge, Ms. Gilland, I am going to hold you no bond on the murder charge and the remaining charges.
Police say Gilland shot her terminally ill 77-year-old husband, Jerry, at Advent Health Hospital in Daytona Beach.
They had a conversation about it, and they actually planned this approximately 3 weeks ago.
But see, this chief, he's saying it with his chest, like this is actually 100% factual. How do you know that, chief? You don't know that for sure. You're taking her word. And because she does look like a precious little old woman, you over here believe in everything that she says. We don't know for sure if that's really what he said. Now, if he had something in writing and they can authenticate his writing, that he put that in some writing or recording or something. But even then, okay, even if he did ask for this to happen to him, it's not justified. You should not be taking out your spouse because your spouse asked you to do it. No, in no way. It's illegal. It's not cool. I don't even know why she would even want to do that. I know she saw him suffering, but she could have just been there with him to love and comfort and hold him and cook him his favorite meals. Well, I guess when they're terminally ill, they don't want to eat, but we'll just be there to make sure those last moments are some of the most precious moments he can have. Sometimes when people are terminally ill, they just need you there to show all the love and care and just be there for them emotionally and fight the fight with them. Fight the fight with them. That can give them comfort in and of itself. But this chief over here, he's talking as if this is 100% fact, which is why I'm irritated with him, because I feel like the woman got to him and his heartstrings are involved and he can't seem to see clearly because all he sees is this precious old woman. Like what I was saying, she does look adorable. I'm just saying, I'm sorry guys, she does. Like if you just look at her and you don't know what she did, you're like, oh, what a precious older woman. What does she need? I would help her. She's so precious. But what she did was heinous. It was heinous, and he needs to take his emotions out of it, and he needs to think objectively, and he needs to do additional research to find out if this is really what the husband said. And even if it was, it's still not justified. I'm sorry. The chief over here getting on my nerves, guys.
That if he continued to take a turn for the worse, that he wanted her to end this.
After the shooting, police negotiators talked with Gillen for nearly 4 hours. Eventually, police used a flashbang and a taser to get her to drop the gun. They say she was never a threat to anyone else at the hospital. Neighbors on Gillen's quiet street in New Smyrna Beach say they're stunned.
Yeah, completely shocked, yes, because, I didn't know that he was that ill. And
they say the couple seemed to live a peaceful life.
he was more outside in the garage and stuff, but they seemed like a really happy couple the only few times that I saw them.
They seem pretty nice, super nice.
Okay, so I'm suspicious about this case. Y'all got to make sure you listen to everything that is said. The neighbor says that he, the husband, was outside more than the wife was. If he's terminally ill, how is he out all the time in the garage and stuff? Like he said, he's more outside in the garage and stuff. So I would think if someone's terminally ill, they're more bedridden. They're not out doing, kind of labor and stuff like that. And the neighbor saying he's out more. So I don't know. I have questions. Whether what the story she's saying is I don't know. But then I guess it is true though, because he was in the terminally ill unit or, the floor where all the terminally ill patients are. I don't know. Maybe it was a sudden illness that happened to him that kind of caught him by surprise, maybe. I don't know. I have questions though, because this neighbor is saying he was outside more in the garage and doing stuff. So I don't know, guys. I have questions, some serious questions.
Yep, told them they could come over and use our pool if they needed to. And
lawyers we spoke with say much of the trial may hinge on Gillen's state of mind when the shooting happened.
It will be up for any defense attorney to present the mitigation involving the compassion of the circumstances of watching a loved one that you've been married to suffer so greatly, and also look at the mental health of the client and whether they are able to appreciate the nature and circumstances of the events and the consequences that could come from something like this.
Police say they're still investigating how Gillen got the gun into the hospital. In Daytona Beach, Matt Tresca, Fox 35.
Well, that's pretty easy how she got the gun in the hospital. Anybody can bring a gun in the hospital these days. There's no security check. You just walk on in. I'm into a hospital. I never had anyone stop me and check me or anything. You just walk right on in. You can have anything in your bag. Nobody knows. So that part is an easy question. Okay. Now, the other, there's so much conflicting thoughts in my mind, because on one side, I'm like, this is a precious woman. Who knows what's going on? Although I know ethically and all kinds of religiously, everything is wrong to go out and take your husband out like that. He was already on his way out. Just wait it out and love and comfort that man at last moments. And I know he's speaking irrational, saying stuff like, take me out, take me out. But in reality, he probably really don't want that. He's just saying it because he just probably feeling so much illness inside that he probably don't want to be here. But still, guys, this is crazy. And then on the other side of it, you have to ask yourself, this woman is an older woman. She's 76 years old. She's going to have to spend all that of her life in prison if she gets convicted. If she gets convicted, y'all, because on the other side of it, this is Florida. And Florida, they're very empathetic to defendants as it is. If I'm not mistaken, I think in Florida was where the individual shot up all those people. It was like a shooting spree, and he didn't get the death penalty. They were going to give him the death penalty, but the jury, they felt empathy for this guy. That was just last year. I think it was Florida, guys. Let me know in the chat. But he killed a lot of people, and the jury, they couldn't garner up the guts to give him the death penalty. So I feel like the Florida jurors are very soft and empathetic, and their heartstrings are going to be pulled so much in this trial because they're going to see this sweet, fragile old woman. She does look very precious. You know, I don't think she is, well, I don't know. I don't know who she is. Okay, looks can be deceiving because this look right here in this mugshot look like she's proud of what she did. I don't know. Because the chief says she's very sad, but she's smiling away in this picture. It looked like somebody who's happy that weight of all the pressure of dealing with a terminally ill husband is lifted off of her. Some people are like that. Some you got to be careful who you marry, because when you say those vows till death do us part, you have to make sure your spouse really means it, because there are some sinister people out there that they'll marry you, and then once you start getting ill, or if you have a certain terminally ill situation, you will see their true colors come out. They don't want to be around you. They're complaining. They're irritated that you are a burden to them. There's actually a very sick case like that I just talked about, where this wife, her husband got cancer, and she treated him so bad, guys. And then she ended up beating him to death in the most horrible way to die. It was awful, guys. I'm pretty sure if you guys are crime individuals who love crime, like learning about crime and different stuff like that, you probably heard about it. It's an older case that happened a couple of years ago, but that way that man was brutally beaten like that, it was just so sad. So it's just, you got to be careful who you're with. But at the same time, I think a jury is going to be kind of conflicted, and the defense attorney is going to have an easier chance of winning the sympathy of the jury. So that's going to be an interesting trial. Also, they're going to have to assess the mental status of this woman. I mean, was she rational when she did this? Did she understand the consequences of the behavior that she did? She might say, no, I didn't understand that I was doing anything wrong because I thought I was helping my husband. He asked me to do it and I was trying to help him. I didn't really realize that I was breaking the law or doing anything bad because I was doing something he asked me to do to relieve him of his misery. So this is going to be an interesting trial, y'all. Very interesting trial. And what do you guys think about that law that they're trying to put on the books about being able to give medication that can take somebody out if they're terminally ill and they don't want to live anymore? That's conflicting in my, I don't know, in my ethical moral strings. I'm just conflicted all the way around. Okay, let me hear what y'all got to say, because I'm pretty sure you guys have all kinds of stuff to say about this. Right, Tavia says she's still here. Okay, she's still here. I thought they had an agreement. Okay, didn't y'all have an agreement? If you really said you had this agreement, why was you in there for hours after you did what you did to your husband, and you still out there barricaded in the room? Like Tavia said, I don't know. It's not making sense. Yesum says she looks sinister. She does for some reason. Okay, there's two sides to me. In the mugshot, I'm conflicted because I'm like, the woman looked like she's not feeling any remorse for what she did. If I just offed my husband that I didn't want to do, but he asked me to do it, which I would never do anything like this, guys. I'm just trying to think of how she's thinking. Believe you me, I would never do anything to anybody. I'm saying, trying to put myself in the lady's shoes. I'd be crying profusely. You wouldn't be able to get a mugshot from me. You wouldn't be able to, I would be in there crying, looking a hot mess in the picture. She's so calm. She's so relaxed. She is so unemotional. It's just the demeanor. Where's the tears at? And I know, okay, we can't tell people how to grieve, but she took out her husband that she claimed she loved. Like, I don't get it. And if you love him so much, why would you want to, prematurely take his life and risk losing those last moments with him? The woman, Hi, Crystal. Hi, love. Happy Sunday. I don't believe her, guys. Yes. Thank you so much, Fran, Bread Love. If you guys could please hit the like button. That's all I ever ask for to get the story out. Please just do that, please. Okay. Laura Thomas says she obviously wasn't willing to finish the pact, but was able to end him. Right. That's the thing I'm conflicted with, Laura. I'm like, did they really have this pact? Why was it that she did what she did? Not that the whole act in itself was right at all. That part, let's get that out the way. I'm just saying, you guys claim you have this pact, but why was it so easy for her to take her husband out? But when it came to taking her own life, when they had this agreement 3 weeks ago, all of a sudden she couldn't do it. some reason I don't believe her. I feel like her husband became a burden to her. She got tired going up and down that hospital. Probably the medical bills were skyrocketing. He became a burden to her, and she got tired of him. And she brought in that gun, and she knew she could take him out, and he could not, be able to speak for himself and tell the officers what really happened, that he didn't have a pact. Sometimes there's some sinister people out there. It's like I said, you got to be careful who you marry. You got to really, 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 really assess them to see if their heart is really, truly for you. Because when times get hard, you never know. They will flip and switch up on you in a hot minute, okay? In a hot minute. Fran says, my mother begged my sister to unplug her after surgery. I almost hurt my sister for trying, and I stopped her, but it's a hard thing to go through. It is, Fran, you're right. It is a hard thing to go through. I have to acknowledge that. It is a hard thing to go through, and people don't want to live through it, and I could see how it could be torturous. I agree, Fran. I do. But still, I don't feel it's right for someone to play God and take someone out like that. The best thing you can do in that time is just show them all the love and care and try to make their time as comfortable. I know it's hard to say because they're not comfortable in suffering, but just try to make the best of it. And you won't be surprised when you show love and support. That love and support can go a long way because they just don't want to feel alone. And sometimes they feel a burden to people. Sometimes they feel a burden to their family and to others. And so they're just like, just take me out. I don't want to be here. But just sometimes just really giving that extra love to them and care and help them through it is the best you can do. But to take them out, come on now. That's just, I don't know. I don't know. It is tough. Like, hi, Miss KP Bailey. It is very tough, you guys. I was struggling with this one going back and forth. My tongue was tied. I didn't know what to say. That's why I needed y'all help because I knew you guys would come through for me. My opinionators would come through for me and give me some opinions on this. Canada already doing it. What? Fran said Canada's already doing it. Those medications. Let me see. Canada. This is crazy. Legalized medication. What? I'm trying to look it up, y'all, and see if this is true. Assisted unalive. Let's see this, guys. Oh my gosh. Is this real? I don't know. But this is an old article. It's like, let me see if this is anything new. Timeline assisted unalive in Canada. This is old. People living with chronic intense pain or terminally ill fight for the right to die. This is sad. I mean, I get it, but to shoot somebody, y'all, you'd rather them go out peacefully than to get shot in the head. That's crazy. The federal government decriminalized attempted unalive in 1972. This is from Canada. And the legal right to turn down medical treatment emerged at around the same time. An overview of the key events. So February 6, 2015, the Supreme Court of Canada unanimously overturns a legal ban on doctor-assisted self-conclusion, ruling the law should be amended to allow doctors to help in specific situations. Doctor-assisted self-conclusion allowed by the Supreme Court in specific cases. What? Guys, I'm reading this from Canada, y'all. This is crazy. This is crazy. Now, this is an old article. Let me just give a disclaimer. It says 2015. That's crazy. The Supreme Court in Canada overruled it, meaning they overruled the prohibition. That's crazy, guys. So she's right. It looks like in Canada, they're permitting it. April 22nd, it says 6 terminally ill cancer patients in Canada received doses of psychoactive substance found in magic mushrooms after authorities eased rules. So they're allowing them to take magic mushrooms. Terminally ill to receive legally manufactured mushrooms in Canada. What? Wow, guys. Found naturally in mushrooms could help with end-of-life anxiety. Okay, so well, this article we're looking right on the screen, that's not what I'm reading. I'm reading something else. But this is saying that the Supreme Court has permitted it. but this is a 2015 article. I tried to Google for more recent, but they didn't have anything. Which means it's possibly, like she said, it's probably legalized over there. Interesting. It's saying the Supreme Court of Canada hears an appeal from BC Civil Liberties Association seeking to overturn the legal ban on doctor-assisted dying. That's, I don't know, guys. I don't know how I feel about it. I would prefer this other route. Here, let me show you what Canada has provided, because I would prefer this other route. This other route here is they're allowing to prescribe mushrooms to them that will basically help with end of life anxiety. So like it kind of helps calm them down. You know, I would say find ways to help them have a peaceful ease down that path of their life ending instead of just ending their life. But that's just my opinion, guys. It says people in Canada could previously get exemptions to use the drug, but couldn't easily access it. Okay, so 6 terminally ill cancer patients in Canada received the country's first legally produced, okay, why are they gonna have to have this in here? Mushroom. The psychoactive compound found in magic mushrooms. This is called like, oh God, psilocybin or whatever. Psilocybin. Under new rules about access to the substance, the people receive the drug alongside therapy over the weekend. See, I would prefer this approach. Give them something that can ease their anxiety, something that can also ease any pain or anything, that they can be in a sense of euphoria and peace during these last moments in their life than just ripping their life from the earth in a violent, horrific way. I think this is a better approach that Canada's doing here, because it's allowing them to have more of a peaceful passing. And not that they pass, they just kind of, it lowers their anxiety. So they're not feeling all that anxiety and the worries and all the other torturous symptoms of their cancer. When they're taking the mushroom, it just kind of helps them escape all of that pain and anxiety. Health Canada amended its rules in January so that doctors could request access to manufactured psilocybin for terminally ill patients as part of a special access program. Psilocybin is illegal in the country, but has shown promise for treating end-of-life anxiety in people with life-threatening cancers. See, I like this approach, guys. This I would not be immune to, because you're not taking a person's life. You're not giving them medication that ends their life, but you're helping them have a peaceful period on this earth, you know, during their last moments, last days, last weeks, last month, who knows, last months, however long they have, that they can have this medication that, you know, can just give them peace of mind. That's what I would rather go with than trying to give somebody a medication to take their life. I'm not for that. And I'm not for some person going out here and shooting their husband. Okay. I'm just not for that either. But this approach, I can be with Canada on this. They said people were previously allowed to apply for exemptions to use psilocybin, but there was no framework for them to access professionally manufactured drugs. That meant they had to grow their own mushrooms or source the substance from an unlicensed dispensary. Okay, under the new rules, patients approved through Health Canada's Special Access Program can get access to man-made version of psilocybin from a regulator approved licensed dealer. While the treatment aims to improve symptoms, it does not treat cancer. See, so it aims to improve symptoms. That I can go with. I can go with that. And I can see that Canada is more ahead of the United States in that sense. I don't feel that people who are terminally ill should have to suffer. There's got to be a way that they can give patients some type of medication that can alleviate them from the suffering, because those symptoms could be, oh my gosh, a horrible pain and suffering. But don't take somebody out. I'm not for that. But at least give them something to give them peace of mind. This is a major win for patients and doctors who have been left in the dark for the past 2 years with legal exemptions, but no supply of psilocybin. So, okay, I'm with Canada on that. I'm not with them about giving them medication to unalive folks. I don't like that. but I like the idea of them utilizing mushrooms to give people peace of mind, relieving them of end of life anxiety. And I don't know about mushrooms. I don't take drugs, guys, at all, period. But I hear mushrooms kind of help people feel a sense of euphoria and happiness, peace. I don't know. I don't know what it does. Okay. Maybe I should look it up and see what it does. What does mushrooms do for anxiety? I'm curious. Okay. A large study found that people who eat mushrooms have a lower chance of anxiety and depression. Okay. Let me show y'all this on the screen so y'all know what I'm reading, because y'all probably like, what's this girl reading? Okay, so this little quick Google search says a large study found that people who eat mushrooms have a lower chance of anxiety and depression, but it doesn't necessarily cure depression. It helps prevent oxidative stress and relieve nerve signals. Okay, so it has that effect. I like that. It eases anxiety. It doesn't eliminate it, but it eases it. They said, certainly true that some people notice anxiety and paranoia when taking mushrooms. Oh, see, there's always a weird effect to it. It gives people hallucinations. So, oh my God, we back to square one. Y'all didn't even see that, huh? We back to square one. We don't want them to see hallucinations. That's going to make it worse. They're already suffering enough. We're back to square one, y'all. Just pray. Just pray for your loved one and just love on them. But I'm in no way in agreement with what this woman did, okay? I don't agree with what she did. And unfortunately, now she has to spend the rest of her life in prison when she could have just loved on her husband, prayed with him, gave him all the love and affection and care during his ending days. He could have passed away today, okay? If all we would have known. Based upon what the chief said, he was only, he only had a few days or a few moments left. They didn't even know when he was going to, pass away. So it was like, girl, just show him some love. I know it's hard seeing your loved ones suffer like that, but just be there to love on them. Love can go a million miles. I'm just saying it can, especially the love of someone you care about, and you're being there to support and pray. And, just there's so many ways you can comfort your loved one when they're in this horrible situation. And I know it can be hard, but y'all, I'm sorry. This topic is very hard to talk about. It is. Tavia says, absolutely not. The person may not be mentally stable. Right. Because when you're terminally ill, you're not really mentally stable. You're thinking just to end it, of course. So it's our job as the family member to say, I love you. I'm here for you. I know you're suffering, but you're not alone. I'm with you each and every moment. I will be there to love on you and to support you through this. I know it feels like you want to leave this earth, but God wouldn't want you to leave this way. We're going to pray that God allows you to have a peaceful passing, and I will be here on that moment with you. That, sometimes you have to be that conscious for your family member, because they're not going to be thinking rationally. They're going to just be thinking about ending it all. Terminally ill, it could cause a lot of anxiety, depression, all kinds of stuff. They're like, just end it now. But it's your job as the family member to try to be the rational speaker there in the love and support. And I know it's very hard. It's so easy to say, but it's very difficult when you're seeing your loved ones suffer. But I don't know. I have a lot of questions about the woman. I don't know, guys. I can go back and forth with it. Some have to do with these kind of requests. Right, Miss KP Bailey. Girl, there's something about it. I just can't. I can't. These requests, I just can't. It's a tough decision, especially if her husband was suffering. Yeah, but she violently took him out. Like, how is that? How are we talking about this being a decision? She shot him in the head. Who does that? I know he was suffering, but that doesn't give her the legal right to do that either. She like I said, there's other ways you can comfort your spouse. And like I said, they were saying he was going to pass away any day now. So, I mean, what's to say he was going to pass away today or tomorrow? He was almost on his way out. He probably was thinking that because, he's a man, he's used to being out. He's used to be like the neighbor said, he's always out in the garage. He's very independent. He's very on the move. And this stripped him of all that. And of course, in his mind, he wants to just leave. But I don't know. She should have tried to just show love, because look, Okay, she made this decision, right? Her husband's suffering. So now she's going to have to suffer. She's an older woman. She probably has a lot of health problems, but she's going to have to suffer and spend the rest of her life in a prison cell. So how does this help her? How does his decision to depart this world in that way help her? And she claimed they were supposed to both take themselves out, right? How is that love? I don't know if the husband said that. That's what I'm saying. They said they were just loving couple. I don't know if the husband would really want to see his wife who's healthy unalive herself too. I don't, that's what I'm saying. I have a hard time believing this is really what happened. You know, I'm having a hard time believing he would do that, because if they're just this loving couple, I don't think he would want her to do this, but her taking her life too, her ending her life. He's suffering. Or else that's a toxic relationship. Think about it. Your husband tells you, I'm terminally ill. I want you to shoot me, and then shoot yourself. That's what I'm saying. I get it if it's just, oh yeah, I want to leave because I'm terminally ill. But you're saying this man wanted her to kill herself too, and she's not ill? I don't know. I'm having a hard time believing this woman. I don't think he would put his wife that he loves in that position either, to either unalive herself or be in prison for the rest of her life under horrible conditions. And you know, they don't have good medical treatment in those hospitals, in those jails and prisons. And this woman's going to be suffering in there. Do you think her husband would have wanted that? I don't know if that's what I'm saying. I'm stuck with, I don't believe the woman, y'all. I don't. And that's just me. That's just me. Miss KP Bailey says, I couldn't do, but I also don't have a terminally ill loved one. Right. But think about it, Miss KP Bailey. Neither of us, you and I, have a terminally ill loved one. So we don't know what she's going through. But do you think she was acting rational to end her life too then? I thought she's trying to help her husband or whatever. Why does she have to take her life also? First of all, I don't think she should take anybody's life, but I'm just saying, if we're going to go along that line of that analysis with what she did, because she's trying to help her husband, well, why does she have to harm herself? Why does she now have to be in prison because of it? That is some serious toxic kind of love. I'm just saying. That's some toxic kind of love, especially he's almost going to be gone soon, because he was almost on the verge of being out already. And right, she used the gun, y'all. Like, come on. You think that was going to make her situation better? She's not terminally ill. I don't think this man would want to see his wife spend the rest of her life in prison. I don't think he said that. I don't think he said that, guys. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure he didn't like suffering, but I have a hard time thinking he would tell, unless he's a toxic guy, and I don't think he's like that. I don't know him. I don't know the guy. But why would he tell her to kill herself too? I don't know. Maybe there's some people like that. Y'all gonna have to help me out. I'm going back and forth because this whole thing got me so tongue-tied. I thought the last case was difficult to talk about, but this one's just got me kind of thinking about both sides and wondering which side I'm gonna really take right now, because I don't know. Laura Thomas says, I couldn't do it. I lost my husband in 2020. He was always saying he couldn't take it anymore, but I told him we need him and take one day at a time. See, exactly. I love you, Laura. Thank you for coming through for us. This is what I'm feeling. Exactly. That's what I would feel. That's exactly what I'm saying. In a normal, healthy relationship, that's what you would do. Laura is talking about a healthy relationship. Because yes, your spouse is going to say they don't want to be here. They can't take it anymore. They want you to take it out. Just end it all. But you have to be that fighting voice. Even though it's hard, you have to be that fighting voice to encourage and empower that relative to keep fighting. Like Laura said, her husband couldn't take it anymore, but she told him, we need you. We know, just fight one more day. Just keep fighting. We're here. We're fighting with you. You're not alone. You got this. And you got to always speak that word of hope, even if it doesn't look like it's hopeful. But for you to take a firearm and take the position of God, no, honey, you don't know what God's going to do in that man's life. He might turn around and heal the man. You don't know. So it's not right to stand in the position of God and off this person. And then it's worse for her now, because now either she takes her life, what she was thinks she said she was going to do. Now she's in prison. And this woman is an older woman. She's 76 years old. She looked like she can barely, hear the judge when the judge is telling her charges. She's kind of leaning in, trying to hear that. This woman shouldn't have to spend her rest of her years in prison. You think her husband will want that for her because he's terminally ill? If he does, that's not a healthy relationship as it is, and they shouldn't have been married in the first place. But a man who really loves his wife is not going to put his wife in that situation, which is why I have a hard time believing he said that. Okay. I have a hard time. I'm not sure I believe it. I don't know if he would just tell his wife to off herself too. That sounds like a toxic kind of Romeo and Juliet type, Bonnie Clyde / I don't know what kind of relationship that was. Ike and Tina, I don't know. That don't sound like a healthy relationship like what Laura's talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Thank you, Laura, because I needed somebody in the chat to tell me if they've been through it, because I haven't been through that. Miss KP Bailey says, I've heard about meds being requested, even the refusal to take meds and have assistance to stay alive. Okay. She's heard about being requested and even the refusal to take meds, having assistance to stay alive. Okay, I see what you're saying. But, even with that, KP Bailey, rather that, honey, than somebody taking a gun and shooting. I'm sorry, that part I can't go with. The medication, I don't know. I'm not on with that either. But the whole thing Canada's doing with the mushroom thing, that might work. But I don't know about the hallucinations they get. It's too many stuff going on in this case, y'all. This case is it's pulling on all my conflicting strings right now. There are less hurtful ways, right? There's less hurtful ways. Just empower your husband, girl. Just empower your husband. I like to hear her explanation for sure. I'm curious too, but still, shooting somebody in the head that you say, I don't. Okay, Miss KB says she looks tired to me. Okay, so you don't think she does. Poor. Well, I have empathy for the woman, but still, she does look like a precious older lady. But to kill your husband like that, I don't know. I still don't know if he really said what he said, and if he did say what he said. I'm with Laura, like what Laura said. Jeremiah, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. People need to let God make the call. Exactly. We don't get to play God. Okay, we don't. God says, thou shalt not kill. So I know a lot of people aren't believers. I am a believer in the word of God. Okay, I live by the Bible. That's what I live by. So y'all gonna hear me if I talk about God a lot. That's just me. You don't have to deal with it, okay? But you have your opinion. I respect your opinion, but I'm saying my opinion. And my opinion is the scriptures say thou shalt not kill. So that is what I would be basing my decision making on. So I wouldn't be able to go and kill somebody just because they asked me to do it. Now I will be there to love them to the moon and back and comfort them and empower them and just encourage them to keep fighting, because sometimes they just need that love. That is some of the most comforting feeling, to know your spouse, your family member is there for you and won't leave you there alone to die alone, but will just be there for you each day. That gives them the willpower to keep fighting. You know what I mean? Mindy Lee says, I am very sorry for your loss. It's so hard to stay strong when you are in pain. I know it is. It is, like Mindy Lee said. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2020. Right. So sorry, Mindy Lee. I'm so sorry. My dad has multiple sclerosis, so I know the horrific suffering that individuals with multiple sclerosis go through. My grandma had it. It's like it runs in my family. So I'm praying to God it skips me, guys. Please pray for me, y'all. But it runs in my family. My grandma had it on my paternal side. My dad has it, and man, he suffers. So I express empathy. But having a family and support really can go a long way. It can. It can. Wait, okay, so France says they legalized it in 2022, August 2022. Wow, Fran. Girl, there's a heartbreaking documentary of a man who went through it and he shouldn't have, my opinion. Yeah, my gosh, y'all. This is crazy. Save Mother Earth. I think you're on point. Thank you, Save Mother Earth. This is a difficult one, y'all. I do not agree with what she did either. Okay. Yeah. Not condoning it. Okay. Some people in here are with me because I'm just saying I'm conflicted. I wouldn't do it though. None of her family was at the courthouse. She's really alone now. Right, guys? This is so sad. Like, do they have kids, guys? Do they have, where's their family? I'm really wondering, were they just all alone in this world together? There's so much more to this story, man. I hope they give us more information about this story. Because this story, there's got to be more in the background. Do they have kids? I have so many questions. Wouldn't he be eligible for hospice care? I would think so, right? Save Mother Earth. I would think so. And why would I wouldn't want to be one moment without my husband. I would just stick it out with him. Like, honey, you want to pull through, baby. We need you. I need every second and moment I can have with you. Okay. I'm not about to off you. You crazy? You're crazy? All right. Good night, Fran. Remember Dr. Oh yeah, I heard about he did a lot of assisting. Oh yeah, I heard about him. Oh my God, yeah, very sick, sinister person. I don't. Right. Alicia says all sweet older people used to be young. Girl, yep, they do. They did used to be young. You right, girl. You right. All right, y'all. Thank you for helping me with this one. Thank you, because I needed some help. I didn't know what to think. I was conflicted. I'm still conflicted, but all I could say is I would in no means agree with someone taking a firearm and shooting your spouse or family member in the head because they asked you to do it because they're terminally ill. That is not what God wanted us to do. God put it in the scriptures. He explicitly said, thou shalt not kill, okay? Under any circumstances. I think the best thing to do in that situation is just be there for your spouse, empower your spouse, love them, pray with them, do everything you can to make their time on this earth as comfortable as you can. And but because the thing is, this whole situation ended so tragically. This woman now is facing life in prison. She's facing a first-degree charge. So obviously that wasn't the right approach, because she shouldn't have to now suffer in prison. Who knows if she's facing life in prison because it's first degree, also a possible death penalty charge because of this. So it's like so many things. And even there's another part of me that asks, was this really true? Did he really say this? Because if they're in such a loving, nurturing relationship as she, led the investigator and the officer and the chief to believe, then why would he put her in a position of taking her life when she's not terminally ill, or her possibly facing life in prison? I just don't think he would be that person to be that selfish, I would say. Even though he's suffering, I don't think he would do that. So there's a part of me that questions whether he really made this request. Is there an underlying sinister part of this woman? Is there more to this story? Because you can't always believe just because someone says something that's factual. Where is the corroborating evidence? Did they write something down? Did they make a pact on a video or somewhere where they can confirm he actually said this? Because it feels like the chief is already ready to believe everything she says because the woman's so precious and she looked like she precious, the sweet older woman. But at the same time, she could be lying and got tired of him and felt like he was a burden and wanted to take him out. So we really don't know. I'm conflicted. I really could use y'all help. If you're going to put anything in the comments, please be polite in the comments. We all won't agree on stuff, especially this story. It's going to be a lot of conflicting opinions, but just please be polite. Just because you don't agree with one person doesn't mean you got to be rude. Just give your opinion with dignity and with grace. And please do not refer to any other YouTubers in the comments or in the chat. Otherwise, your comment will have to be deleted. Have a lovely Sunday, guys, and take care.